What? A. Window. Arsenal's blockbuster deal for Viktor Gyokeres is hanging by a thread. Liverpool are ready to blow the British transfer record for Alexander Isak. Newcastle's cheeky £70 million move for Hugo Ekitike could change everything. And Manchester United? They might just gamble £100 million on Chelsea's Nicolas Jackson. Stay right there. We're breaking down every twist, every fee, and every sneaky clause from Arsenal's Gyokeres standoff to Liverpool's all-in chase for Isak, and why Newcastle fans might be sweating despite the club saying, "Not for sale." Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's dive into this summer's craziest transfer saga yet. Liverpool are cooking up something massive, and Newcastle might be about to get blindsided. So here's the headline. Liverpool are ready to absolutely shatter the British transfer record to sign Newcastle's Swedish hitman Alexander Isak. We're talking a jaw-dropping £120 million. Yes, £120 million. Let that sink in. Now, the Reds haven't dropped an official bid yet. What they have done is slide into Newcastle's DMs, okay, more like formal club-to-club talks, and basically say, "Hey, if you're open to selling, we're ready to talk numbers." But here's the twist. Newcastle are having none of it. They've made it crystal clear. Isak is untouchable. And why wouldn't he be? Since joining from Sociedad for £63 million in 2022, the guy has smashed in 54 goals in 86 Premier League games. That's elite. Even though Isak himself hasn't exactly packed his bags, word is he'd actually be up for joining the reigning champions. And Liverpool? They're not messing around. If they can't get Isak, they're threatening to hijack Newcastle's own move for Frankfurt's Hugo Ekitike. That's right, steal your striker and the guy you were trying to sign as his partner, cold. Meanwhile, Liverpool also just told Bayern Munich to jog on after Bayern offered £58.6 million for Luis Diaz. Bayern are scrambling because Jamal Musiala's had a horror leg break, but Liverpool are like, "Nope, not for sale." And that's not all, they're also quietly trying to spark a bidding war between AC Milan and Al Hilal for Darwin Núñez. Sell high, buy big. Proper football manager stuff. Back to Isak though. Newcastle actually value him closer to £150 million, which would even make Liverpool wince a bit. But a record-breaking offer could tempt Toon's board to cash in, especially since Eddie Howe is desperate to strengthen before a busy Champions League season. Frankfurt are open to letting Ekitike go, but they're starting the bidding at £85 million, which is still spicy, but maybe negotiable. And in case you forgot, Liverpool boss Arne Slot is juggling all this just weeks after the club mourned the tragic loss of Diogo Jota in a car crash. On top of that, the new Premier League season is less than a month away, so the pressure is sky high. Now Newcastle have doubled down, telling Liverpool, "Not for sale at any price." Isak's got a contract until 2028, and fresh talks about a better deal are coming. But behind the scenes, there's real fear this whole saga is a calculated move to turn Isak's head. Right now he's in Austria at Newcastle's pre-season camp, and Howe is watching closely to make sure the lad stays focused. He's even expected to play in their friendly against Celtic on Saturday. If Liverpool do fail to get Isak, the plan B? Chelsea's Nicolas Jackson. But Chelsea, being Chelsea, slapped a £100 million price tag on him too. Bottom line, Liverpool are going all in. This window isn't just about tweaks, it's about blockbuster moves, unsettling rivals, and maybe making the biggest statement of the summer. Stay tuned, it's going to get messy. Newcastle's monster bid for Hugo Ekitike could blow the doors wide open on Alexander Isak's future, and Liverpool fans are already rubbing their hands. Alright, here's what's going down. Newcastle have just tabled a jaw-dropping £69.5 million bid for Eintracht Frankfurt striker Hugo Ekitike. And while Toon fans might see this as squad depth, the rumour mill is absolutely convinced this move could eventually push Isak right into Liverpool's waiting arms. Now, Newcastle are being crystal clear. They're not planning to sell Isak, not this summer, not even if Liverpool come in, waving £150 million in cash. Eddie Howe's vision? Play Ekitike alongside the Swedish star, especially now that Callum Wilson has packed his bags. But let's be honest, the minute you spend nearly £70 million on another striker, people start connecting the dots. The logic? If Ekitike settles in, Newcastle would be far more comfortable cashing in on Isak next summer, especially if he decides not to sign a new deal. His current one runs until 2028. And who's waiting in the wings? Liverpool and Arsenal. Both clubs are huge admirers, but Liverpool in particular are happy to play the waiting game after already making their interest known. Remember, Isak banged in 23 Premier League goals last season and could see Liverpool fresh off a title win under Arne Slot as the perfect launchpad to chase Champions League glory. Newcastle fans know Isak is special. He's still their record, signing after that £63 million switch from Real Sociedad in 2022. But some scouts believe Ekitike actually has a higher ceiling. The Frenchman, still only 23, scored 22 goals across all competitions last season, helping Frankfurt clinch Champions League football. He's a unit too, almost 6'3" in, but still quick on the turn, with slick feet that make him a nightmare for defenders. His first proper Bundesliga campaign was impressive, 15 goals and 8 assists in 33 appearances. And let's not forget, he and Omar Marmoush were a deadly duo before Marmoush left for Manchester City in January. Fun fact, Newcastle almost signed Ekitike before they got Isak. Back in 2022, they tried to snap him up from Reims on deadline day, but he said nah and went to PSG instead. Now, after Frankfurt bought him outright from PSG for just £3 million earlier this year, they value him at a whopping £86 million. And it's not just Newcastle circling. Arsenal, Liverpool and even Manchester United have all registered interest in Ekitike. Meanwhile, Newcastle have already made one major summer splash, £55 million to bring in Anthony Elanga from Nottingham Forest. Bottom line, Newcastle say Isak isn't for sale. But football moves fast, and if Ekitike hits the ground running, next summer could get very interesting for Liverpool, Arsenal and Isak himself. Manchester United could be about to shake up the summer window, and Chelsea's Nicolas Jackson is right in the middle of it. Alright, here's what's cooking. United are reportedly eyeing a move for Chelsea striker Nicolas Jackson, but there's a catch. Chelsea have slapped a massive £100 million price tag on him. Yep, 100 million. Now, why would Chelsea even consider selling? Well, Jackson's facing big competition at Stamford Bridge this season after the arrivals of João Pedro and Liam Delap. Suddenly, his spot in the starting 11 isn't guaranteed anymore. But Chelsea aren't exactly sweating over it either. The Senegalese forward is under contract until 2033, yes, 2033, so the Blues have all the negotiating power in the world and can afford to play hardball. Meanwhile, it's not just United circling. Aston Villa could enter the race too. Unai Emery, who handed Jackson his first team debut at Villarreal, is a huge fan. Over in Italy, AC Milan are desperate for a new striker, but they don't seem ready to cough up anything close to that £100 million valuation. Now here's the twist. Despite all the noise around Jackson, United's top priority remains Brentford's Brian Mbeumo. The problem? Brentford have already rejected 2 bids from United worth up to £60 million. They've set their price, £65 million, take it or leave it. United now find themselves at a crossroads. Push harder for Mbeumo, who seems slightly more affordable, or test Chelsea's resolve over Jackson, even though Chelsea don't need to sell and clearly know it. To make things trickier, Jackson recently lost his place to João Pedro at the Club World Cup, and former Chelsea midfielder John Obi Mikel has already gone public with doubts about Jackson's future in blue. Bottom line, United are on the hunt for firepower. Jackson's future at Chelsea is suddenly looking shaky, and there could be a £100 million gamble waiting to happen. Arsenal's huge Viktor Gyokeres deal could be falling apart, and it's getting spicy. So, it looked like Mikel Arteta finally got his man. The Gunners and Sporting had shaken hands on a chunky £63.5 million fee for Gyokeres. Easy, right? Well, not quite. Now, according to the Portuguese press, shout-out record, Sporting are playing hardball. They want an extra £8.7 million in add-ons, and Arsenal are like, wait, hold up, what exactly are these bonuses for? The two clubs are basically arguing over which clauses should unlock the cash, and as it drags on, the whole deal is teetering on the edge. Sporting's president Frederico Varandas isn't blinking either. In fact, he's hoping the delay will tempt another club to swoop in with a last-minute bid. Sneaky. Meanwhile, Gyokeres, who bagged a ridiculous 54 goals in 52 games last season, yes, you heard that right, is so desperate to join Arsenal that he apparently ditched Sporting's pre-season in the Algarve. Varandas is now threatening disciplinary action, saying no one is bigger than the club. Arsenal, on the other hand, are trying to get the deal over the line so Gyokeres can join them on their pre-season tour of Asia. Clock's ticking. And it doesn't stop there. The Gunners are also closing in on Chelsea winger Noni Madueke for £52 million. Madueke even skipped the Club World Cup final, which is either a power move or, well, you decide. Stay tuned. Arsenal's transfer window is turning into a full-blown Netflix drama. And there you have it, Arsenal sweating over bonuses, Liverpool ready to break records, Newcastle playing the long game, and Manchester United plotting a £100 million wildcard. But remember, in the transfer market, nothing is done until it's done. One phone call, one injury, or one late bid can flip the script overnight. So, what do you think? Will Gyokeres finally put on that Arsenal shirt? Can Liverpool really tempt Newcastle to sell Isak? And will United risk it all on Jackson? Drop your hottest takes in the comments below. We read every single one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next twist in this transfer saga. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.